de l'image, nous rendons compte.
Honorable Iba Joseph says the situation in the two English-speaking regions of the country needs urgent attention, and says after a fact-finding mission by 15-man delegation, about 122 persons were killed during the unrest on the 22nd of September and 1st of October 2017. In this edition of the news, economic operators count their losses after the closure of the borders of the two English-speaking regions of the country. This and more will constitute the 6 p.m. primetime newscast. Good evening, I am HANSON Chanji. Thanks for joining me in this primetime newscast on Equinox Television. We are broadcasting live from Douala, Cameroon, Equinox Central News Desk. A total of 122 persons were killed. Honorable Iba Joseph draws the first word after SDF National Executive Committee meeting told the MPs and senators to be offensive during the November parliamentary session that will be in the days ahead. He held a meeting with the pressmen in Jakiri Special Constituency, Bui Division of the Northwest region of Cameroon. Details in the following report. The November parliamentary session is around the corner. SDF party, during the National Executive Committee which took place in Tarikon, Bamenda in the Northwest region, had told its MPs and senators to be hard on the Anglophone crisis. Honorable Iba Joseph, MP for the Jakiri Special Constituency in the Northwest region of Cameroon, draws the first word.
A government minister or a director or a commander of a brigade or of a battalion or a DO suddenly feels that he has the power to order for the killing of citizens. And then when you or me complain about somebody he has killed, he wants to kill you in addition. It's amazing to believe that in the 21st century people still have their heads buried in the sand.
The Honorable says a total of 122 civilians were killed in the two English-speaking regions of Cameroon on September 22 and October 1, peaceful protests. Honorable Iba says after those incidents, he set up a fact-finding mission to the 13 divisions comprising of 15 men with him as chairman.
Our commission's work has come up with 122 people dead in connection with the violence that began on the 1st of October, and which to us is still ongoing because a lot of people are still being chased around the place and we don't know who may die again in the process. Our findings came up with 150 people missing, 1,894 persons were injured either by direct gunshots, torture, or other forms of violence that the soldiers meted out on the people. And we now have at least 16,000 people internally displaced in the Northwest and the Southwest.
The Firebrand Social Democratic Front Party MP for Jakiri also said the United Nations has on record over 40,000 Cameroonians who have fled violence and now refugees in the Cross River State alone in neighboring Nigeria.
And some of these people now had to move to other parts of the country, move to other parts of, wherever they could feel safe. And in the process of taking down our statistics, we then discovered that more than 16,000 people.
He said the death toll in military intervention of September 22 and October 1 was appalling for a country that calls itself peaceful and its people as united in peace. According to Honorable Iba Joseph, an all-inclusive conference by Anglophones is necessary for them to put forth their stance to the government. It was equally an opportunity for Honorable Iba Joseph, MP for the Jakiri Special Constituency, to react on the recent delegation sent by the government or the President of the Republic, Paul Biya, the delegations that were sent to the two English-speaking regions of the country to preach peace. Honorable Buba Joseph says since the start of the Anglophone crisis, President Paul Biya has not reacted so far, especially on recent killings and maiming.
For 1 year, and the head of state has never, ever said anything. And somebody comes acting his drama in your space, and you believe that the head of state sent him. I don't believe it. I found the head of state, when our children were out of school for 8 months, stepping out to talk about how he was ready to put up the infrastructure for the Nations Cup to take place. And the head of state has to send somebody to talk about our children out of school.
That was an extract of what Honorable Buba Joseph told our reporters in the northwest region of Cameroon, precisely in Jakiri. Now, several traders in Douala are facing tough times weeks after the closure of the Cameroon-Nigerian border in the two English-speaking regions of Cameroon. The Congo market business persons cannot travel by road, and they complain that their tickets as well as custom duties are huge blows to their activities. Our reporter Mimi Mefo visited the Congo market and came back with the following report.
In the wake of rising tension in Cameroon's Anglophone regions, the government imposed severe measures on citizens which, to the authorities, was geared towards maintaining peace and order. One of such decisions was the closure of the Cameroon-Nigerian border on September 27th, a situation which has remained unchanged till date. But this has not stopped the population afraid of being arrested or attacked by security forces from fleeing to neighboring Nigeria. The UN revealed lately that at least 40,000 fleeing Anglophone Cameroonians are currently seeking refuge across the Cameroonian border. The impact is not only socio-political, it is also economic. At Marché Congo, in the economic capital, where majority of traders buy goods from Nigeria for sale, the effect is enormous.
Moi, personnellement, j'ai fait un peu dans l'importation. Et sur le terrain, il y a des gars nigériens qui venaient nous ravitailler.
This man dealing in fabric says that business has been on a standstill as a result. Another trader foresees growing economic impact in the coming days, especially as the festive period draws near.
Et ça vient tomber à la période où le commerçant espère quand même vendre un peu en fin d'année comme ça.
Traveling to Nigeria by air is now the lone option, but unaffordable to a good number of the traders. Prices of goods from Nigeria have witnessed a sudden increase in some markets in the country's economic capital.
Les prix sur le marché, ça a augmenté pourquoi? Parce que la douane camerounaise a augmenté les prix.
Traders say that they have to make up for heavy duties imposed on them by custom officials by increasing the prices of goods in the market.
On se disait que c'est la crise anglophone, elle n'est plus crise anglophone. Maintenant, elle est crise camerounaise. Il faut que l'État essaie de voir.
The call, therefore, for return to normalcy is now general.
Now, we take you to the west region of the country to show you disgusting images of how butchers handle beef in Buda in the west region of Cameroon, which is more than disgusting. Now, the meat is exposed on the floor and even sold under unhygienic conditions. Innocent Aze, a man on the beat.
This is the Mbuda slaughterhouse in the west region of Cameroon. Cows are slaughtered on a nasty floor, an insanitary environment, danger to health of consumers. Even butchers are conscious of the poor handling of beef on the deplorable floor, which is a consequence of their unfortunate location. Butchers do not dispose metabolic or waste materials from the cows far off the slaughter building. The waste materials are dumped in and around the slaughterhouse, which intoxicates the environment but seem not to be a disturbing factor to the actors. They pay varying charges to council authorities and other government officials, but do not understand what the money is used for, instead to help ameliorate the condition of the Mbuda slaughterhouse. Water shortage at the slaughtering point poses its own problem as the beef is poorly washed and sold to customers. Water sources are doubtful. The delivery van itself is completely in an unsanitary state. Beef is dumped inside the nasty vehicle and delivered to customers. According to the butchers and meat vendors, the Mbuda Council has to do its job to provide good infrastructure and social facilities with the fees they collected from them. Meantime, customers or beef consumers are compelled to afford the beef served them in such deplorable environment and insanitary condition.
Thanks for that report. Now, some 50 youth in Bamuso in the Bakassi Peninsula in the southwest region of Cameroon have benefited from a government-sponsored program to plant and improve on cassava cuttings on the 15 hectares of land. Now, the move is aimed at curbing the rising situation of rural-urban migration within the youth. Derek Jato reports from Boya.
After a successful phased and experimental phase that took place at Tali 2 in Upper Bayang of Manu Division, where 50 volunteers planted 9,000 improved plantain suckers on the 10 hectares of land in 2016, the Southwest Agency of the National Civic Service Agency for Participation in Development in 2017 has moved to Eluani Balundo in Bamuso Bakassi of Njan Division.
The mission of this agency is to bring development to the doorsteps of the rural population in order to fight rural exodus. You know, most of the youth have the thing that you can only make it out there in the cities.
50 in number, these selected youth of Iluani Balundo for the next 6 months will cultivate and plant improved cassava cuttings on a 15 hectares of land which has been provided by the local traditional council. The Southwest Agency Regional Coordinator, Mr. Eno Daniel Abo, says his agency will do the follow-up and provide input.
We don't only end there. There will be follow-up and we shall provide them with inputs such as cutlasses, hoes, trucks, wheelbarrows, engine saws, and a lot of all these inputs which are being given in fertilizers.
Defining the move as an answer to the youth, Honorable Ngale Daniel call on these youth to be expedient.
I'm calling on the youths to do their best.
To Mr. Eta Bokanya Ashu, the Senior Divisional Officer of Njan Division, this government support should encourage these youth to remain steadfast.
We have come to the rural area to encourage them, to make them engage themselves in income-generating activities.
These beneficiaries, at the end of the day, send a vote of thanks to the head of state, the initiator of this project.
Now, the future of financial market in the Central African sub-region remains uncertain after head of state took a decision during the last extraordinary summit of the CIMAC sub-region. Babila Jonathan tells us in the following report that they failed to provide details on the implementation of some of the decisions taken. Babila?
And Libreville Stock Exchange Market looking forward to cooperate in view of boosting the financial market in the Central African sub-region. A partnership approach which, according to experts, will contribute to instill a new financial market development strength in the sub-region. But for this to be achieved, experts say the Bourse de Valeurs Mobilier de l'Afrique Centrale in Libreville, Gabon, and the Douala Stock Exchange Market in Cameroon's economic capital must be merged. The decision of heads of states of the Central African Economic and Monetary Community, CEMAC, at the last extraordinary summit in Germany, Chad, is silent on this. The heads of states only agreed that the headquarters of the Central African Stock Exchange Market will be in Douala, and that of the Central African Financial Market Regulatory Organ in Libreville, Gabon. Stakeholders are still waiting for an implementation act that will spell out details on what happens next to the two stock exchange markets and regulatory organs, the Financial Market Commission in Cameroon and the Central African Financial Market Supervision Commission in Gabon. Meantime, critics condemn what they consider as greed of Central African states, which, according to them, led to the creation of two competing stock exchange markets instead of a single stock exchange market to equip the CEMAC zone with an efficient financial market.
Now, during that extraordinary summit, which came 8 months after the one that took place in the nation's capital, Yaoundé, our reporters took interest on Daniel Ona Ondou, who has held several ministerial positions in Gabon. He was appointed yesterday as the new commission person for CEMAC. Who was he before his appointment? Catherine Kone.
Daniel Ona Ondou has paraded in the political and educational corridors of Gabon for decades now before his appointment Tuesday. The former Gabonese Prime Minister has served both as rector and lecturer at the Omar Bongo University. In 1990, he was appointed advisor to the president, and in December 1996 parliamentary elections, while 1 year later he was appointed minister delegate under the Ministry of Health and Population. He has held other ministerial positions such as Minister of Act, Minister of National Education and Minister of Youth and Sport from 1999 to 2002. In a partial parliamentary election held on 26 May 2002, he won the 4th seat for Mouliou Department as a PDG candidate, receiving 65.62% of the vote. He was elected to the National Assembly in December 2006 parliamentary election. Following that election, he was elected as first vice president of the National Assembly on 26 January 2007. The 72-year-old Daniel Ona Ondou, in an extraordinary summit in N'Djamena, Chad, on October 10.
And Cameroon's Shejuns Yembe was equally appointed as a commissioner at the CEMAC Commission that was yesterday during the extraordinary CEMAC summit. Now we talk sports, we talk football. UMS of Lum is confident. He will trash Young Sport Academy of Bamenda this weekend in the semi-final of the Cup of Cameroon. UMS of Lum has continued training ahead of today this weekend's clash with the boys from Mankong. Our reporter, Smart Njikan Gabriel, takes us to the training session of UMS of Lum and equally had extended his microphone to supporters of UMS of Lum who have responded positively, saying that Young Sport Academy of Bamenda will be bidding goodbye to the Cup of Cameroon this weekend. Smart?
The inhabitants of Lum are already bracing up for the Cup of Cameroon clash between UMS and Young Sports Academy of Bamenda scheduled for this weekend. Within the town of Lum, the rattle of words has already begun, with some fans believing that the experienced UMS side will have an easy ride over the academicians of Bamenda.
UMS avait les hommes d'expérience. Nous allons traverser en battant sur Young Sport.
Other fans say the football practiced by Young Sport Academy is not different from that of interquarters football. Thus, UMS is going to be victorious.
Young Sport, c'est les histoires du quartier, c'est le football du village.
Another fan tells us UMS has no chance against Young Sport Academy because history will have it that UMS has never beaten the Bamenda-based side in Elite One football.
L'histoire du football de la première division, UMS n'a jamais tapé le Young Sport de Bamenda.
At the Lum Municipal Stadium, UMS has continued to fine-tune its strategies under the supervision of head coach Guy Beten Jebnang. Etuge Joel, the defensive maestro of the club, tells us the preparation is going on hitch-free.
They have nothing to wait but victory, because we are trying to put everything in place for us to see us victorious.
The entire squad of UMS is also hyper-motivated for the game this weekend.
For the moment, everybody is in place, and there's one team spirit that is being put in place.
Coincidentally, the match between UMS and Young Sport Academy concerns teams that have once grabbed the Cup of Cameroon trophy.
And echoes from Mankong Bamenda holds that the Mankong boys are equally training tirelessly ahead of the weekend rendezvous with UMS of Loom. Meantime, the people of Limbe have been jubilating and supporting Victoria United alias Opopo, one people, one power. Victoria United, the Southwest Regional Champion, which has qualified to play the semi-finals of this year's Cup of Cameroon against New Stars FC. These matches will be taking place this weekend. They're bringing us to the end of this 6 p.m. primetime newscast on Equinox Television. Thanks for joining me. Good night.